Hello, this is Dr. Sam on the Unraveling Together podcast. Unraveling Together exists to help each of us tap into the collective wisdom of women as we do the work on ourselves. You are listening to episode number 67, Why Cycle Tracking is Pivotal in Business. Ever wonder why one day you are ready to take on the world, and the next you're ready to blow it all up like a final scene of a Jerry Bruckheimer film? I'll shine some light on that midlife phenomenon now. Have you ever heard the quote, "The best way to predict the future is to create it"? I have many a time, and that's lovely and all, and it works in many cases, just not in perimenopause. There is no predicting in perimenopause. Repeat after me. There is no predicting in peri. The next best thing to predicting is to trace the recent past and track as you trek along to day 365, that most wondrous of days after which you can finally celebrate your menopause. You heard that right. Menopause is a milestone to celebrate, and perimenopause is how we get there. Why do I recommend you track your cycle or lack thereof? It's good for business. Allow me to explain. Have you ever made a bad business decision? How about a catastrophic one? Now, I have made a few in my day, decisions that could fall into both categories, actually, depending how you look at them. But this is not about me. This is about you and how to use cycle tracking to make decisions that help you in business instead of those that hinder your progress, ultimately thwarting your success. Defer and deflect before they ask you about said decisions. That's my motto here, and I'm sticking to the plan. The major hormonal players in female life are estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. In fact, molecule for molecule, a female body has more testosterone flowing around than we have estrogen and progesterone combined. Cool fact right there. So have you ever noticed that one day you're even-keeled, steady, and everything you touch turns to gold, only to be followed by a day or so later, maybe a week, when you appear to have been strapped into an emotional roller coaster against your will, taken for a wild ride that is anything but fun, and now what was once gold is a flaking mess, and you're wondering, what the bleep just happened? Oh, I've been there. Personally and professionally. See, in the thick of my early perimenopause days, I was riding the struggle bus, big time. I doubted everything about myself, what I was doing business-wise, and my personal relationships were barely breathing. I was self-isolating, playing small, and to be honest, taking myself out of the game. After doing a massive amount of introspection and proper hormone testing, I'll get to that in a moment, I learned that I was in perimenopause, and the fact that I was reacting to it instead of proactively embracing it was it cause for the collateral damage all around me, also known as a Jerry Bruckheimer exit scene. Here is the deal with hormone testing. You must be tracking your cycle and sharing that information with your healthcare team so you can narrow in on the best testing days. When you just hope and pray it's the correct timing, you may make catastrophic health decisions based on wonky testing results. See, in addition to the predictable global sex hormone shifts during perimenopause, there is another major hormonal shift that acts like gasoline to a smoldering flame. Cortisol is the gasoline, your sex hormones are the smoldering flame. Here's the clincher. Your sex hormones and your long-term stress hormone of cortisol, they are all built from the same material, and that material is cholesterol. Yep, you heard that right, cholesterol. And because the body and brain are built for survival, your body will rob Peter, or your sex hormones, to pay Paul, which are your stress hormones, in the interest of surviving to potentially breed another day. It boils down to the inborn program to reproduce, therefore not go extinct. Lots and lots of scientific and anthropologic blabbering could go on here, but I will keep to the topic at hand. Survival trumps sex every time. You've heard this from me before, and you'll hear it from me again, and probably again. Left to their own devices, In a lifestyle that is in flow, at ease, and harmonious, your sex hormones make their shift through menopause. They'll eventually adjust and take on their new external creative roles now that all that reproductive energy is shifted into energy available elsewhere in life. Business is one of the most creative things we do in life. Creating a business out of nowhere requires copious amounts of creative energy, and the changes that occur in perimenopause can drain the tank when you're not aware of where you are in your ever-evolving cycle. Should that be the case, and by no fault of your own, you may be working against the flow. When we make major decisions without proper creative energy to back them up, we can blow up our life and our business. Please don't ask me how I know. I mean, if you ask me, I will share, but I don't really want to be airing all my dirty laundry, okay? I like DIY projects. How about you? Repurposing items or making minor repairs to them, in turn breathing new life into them, is my jam. Totally love it. Now, this same spirit applies to the more ethereal aspects in life, too. What I call our creativity tank falls into this category quite nicely. And just like a tangible item in need of minor repairs, you can patch the holes in your creativity tank in a few ways. The lowest hanging fruit is to deal with the stressors that are stressing you the bleep out. They are not going away by ignoring them, nor will they ever. And nobody else is going to do it for you. They're getting too much out of the uneven exchange. Ultimately, you dial down your stress by gathering, then properly assessing data. Data about you is all that matters. What works for another may not work for you, and vice versa. Tracking your cycle will put a big dent in the data you need to assess, so implementing cycle tracking is in order. Stat! If you've been tracking your periods or lack thereof, good on ya. If not, no worries. We can get you up and running in a jiffy. Now, if you're new to tracking your cycle, I've created a printer-friendly PDF to walk you through it. In it, I include a legend of terms and symbols to help you track the usual suspects you associate with your period. No two bodies or brains are alike. Therefore, no two ways of approaching perimenopause are going to equate. You want to learn your cues, your changes. Those are what matter most to you. Each of the links I mention in this episode will be found in the show notes. Menopause is something we just don't talk about, and perimenopause is something most have never even heard of, let alone know to talk about. Now, there's a pretty wide knowledge gap to bridge, and that's why I've created the Unraveling Together resource hub and co-working community, part of which is a section on female-related sex hormones and the differences between our our peri, and our post-menopause stages of life. I demystified the process and am happy to grant you access to my Hormonal Changes in Midlife module, which is on the free side of my membership portal. The link to get there and gain free access instantly is in the notes as well. So in that hour-long module, I cover the relationship between our stress and sex hormones and how our brain coordinates the very intricate dance between the two. Now, if you don't know this stuff, how can you properly manage it? And please, for the love of all that is good in life, do not tell me you'll just outsource it like you do your bookkeeping. That is good for business, but abysmal when applied to your personal health and well-being. Please take me up on this offer. Along with the period tracker I mentioned, you'll be able to print my Prepping for a Visit with Your Healthcare Team document. It is designed to help you arrive fully prepared for the often way too short visit with the healthcare provider. These printer-friendly PDFs I'm sharing are designed to give you and your providers a good visual representation of what it's like to experience life through your body and mind. They're useful at any stage in life, so even if your day 365 or your menopause is in your rearview mirror, or not quite on this side of the horizon, these documents will help you help yourself. Unfortunately, the current state of healthcare is siloed and fragmented. I could go on and on about how that came to be and why it won't ever be fixed at the systemic level, but I won't. It is what it is, and you've got to do what you need to do to ensure you get what you need from it. You need individualized advice based on your specific situation, not that of the general population. To get the level of care you deserve, you must provide your team with the level of detailed information they need to help you. Now, here are 3 reasons to track your cycle in perimenopause. Number 1, to know, quote unquote, your normal. Number 2, to identify changes in your normal. Number 3, to share said normal with your healthcare team. Now, when we're on the spot and under stress, we are sure to forget to bring up something we meant to. It's just how the brain works. So knowing that you are most likely not going to recall all of what you want to discuss with your provider, you're going to go on the offense. You're going to preemptively strike by having the information in your hot little hands at each and every health and well-being related visit. Every single one. Even appointments that are with someone other than the person you typically discuss your female-related issues. Due to the aforementioned siloed, fragmented approach to modern medicine, we reserve certain topics for certain providers. It's by design, and in no way, shape, or form is it to our advantage. This is a big mistake and has done a tremendous amount of harm to each and every one of us. Every aspect of you adds to you, and therefore belongs in any conversation pertaining to you, especially those centered around your health and well-being. When you have it on paper, you're poised to take full advantage of the opportunity to get your provider up to speed quickly. This is a win-win opportunity all too often lost due to the status quo practice of siloing off our parts to the detriment of our whole being. Your providers want to give you the best advice, but they are not mind readers, and they too are under stress in this system we erroneously call healthcare. You rectify the situation by taking both these documents to appointments during which you discuss your mental and physical well-being. Make a whole 3-ring binder in which you keep all these items on hand at a moment's notice. The best advocate for you is you. And tracking your cycle is a powerful way to exercise said advocacy. Be sure to take me up on that offer through the link in the show notes. Until next time, take good care of yourself and each other. Thank you for joining me on the Unraveling Together podcast. I'd love to turn this thing we've got into a dialogue. Follow me on LinkedIn at Dr. Sam Graber, where we can have conversations about all things midlife, perimenopause, and finding meaning through it all. If you want a deeper dive into exploring your midlife experience, consider joining the Unraveling Together community of rebellious midlife women. It is there that we roll up our sleeves and do the work. Unraveling Together is a resource hub, roadmap, and online coaching community curated by yours truly. We are navigating this time called midlife together, for we truly believe we are stronger together. And when unravelers are in need of an assist, they have all of us there alongside them.